Hello and welcome to At the Musco. My name is Betto Arcos. I'm a music journalist, and it's always a pleasure to be with you. Today, we're going to be talking about the band called La Misa Negra. They're performing along with Oso Motley at the Musco on September 25th. And I'm really curious about this band. I've heard a lot about this group for a few years now, and I'm here with two of the members, the founding member actually, Marco Polo Santiago, who's originally from Los Angeles, and I'm also here with Elena de Troya, who's from the Mission in San Francisco. Yes, sir. La Misa Negra is an eight-piece band from Oakland, California. They're known for their unique blend of heavyweight cumbia and high-energy Afro-Latin music. On stage, they deliver an electrifying performance that explodes with infectious dance grooves and punk rock energy, powered by horn and accordion driven riffs, a fierce rhythm section, and a vintage inspired sound. Since their live debut in the fall of 2011, La Misa Negra has toured the country, sharing stages in festivals with the likes of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Stevie Wonder, Lenny Kravitz, and many more. In fact, they're going to be sharing the stage with Oso Motley September 25th at the Musco Center for the Performing Arts. And I'm very pleased to welcome Marco Polo Santiago and Elena de Troya, who are joining us from the Bay Area. Thank you for joining us, guys. I'm so pleased to have you here with on this program. Tell me about this band, the sort of what triggered this idea to create a group called La Misa Negra. The name sounds a bit dark, and I think there's something to be said about that name, right? La Misa Negra.
Yeah. So the name, I'm a rock guy, a heavy metal guy, and I just, when I had the idea of coming up with this cumbia band, I wanted to name it like a rock band, not like a regular, like Fito Olivares or such and such in su orquesta, like normal. I didn't want to name it after myself or something that sounded cumbia. And I love Black Sabbath, and La Misa Negra is kind of like a loose translation of Black Sabbath. And so like, that's a badass name. Like I'm gonna call my cumbia band La Misa Negra, and that was that.
That's a great idea. I mean, I grew up in Mexico, and the first thing I danced to was cumbia, not salsa or anything else. Cumbia has been in my blood for as long as I can remember. In quince años and parties and weddings and everything in the barrio. So I'm a big fan of this music, and I just think it's one of the most infectious dances styles, to dance music anywhere in the world, really. And I'm sure this music is also cumbia itself is the most popular dance form across the hemisphere, bar none. I mean, even more. There are more people that dance to cumbia than salsa. Elena, tell us about your part in this band. You're the percussionist, and you're certainly an integral part of this group.
Yeah. Well, I've been in the band for about 7 years, and I'm half Salvadorian, half Mexican, so cumbia was already in my blood. I just needed to learn more Colombian style cumbia, so that was not as tricky because it was already so natural. I would say that the punk rock stuff was something that I needed to work on. But I love the band, and cumbia is just something it really just resonates so much with my family in general, of always listening to cumbia, always going to parties, always, being that kid in the background watching everybody dance. But yeah, I was actually with another group before I joined La Misa Negra, and Marco apparently was scoping me out, trying to get a badass conguera in his band. He ended up stealing me from the group, and the rest was history. We've been touring all over, and I've been having a blast, even though the last 2 years we haven't been doing as much for obvious reasons. But yeah, I'm super grateful that we're going to be sharing the stage with Oso Motley, the brothers, man. I can't wait to see those guys play dominoes with Will, because we've got or rivalry. Oh, he's going down. So, Will, I'm coming for you, baby.
All right, excellent. So, Marco, you're originally from LA, and tell me about growing up in LA. And I understand that cumbia was sort of part of your soundtrack growing up.
Yeah, my parents are Mexican. They're from Oaxaca. So, in southern Mexico, uh, cumbia is what we listen to, what they listen to. That's like the dance music, uh, as opposed to, northern Mexico, they have different things happening, right? But in southern Mexico and all, like I said, the quinceañeras, the weddings, we have a huge family in LA, and every week there was someone getting married or getting baptized or something. So there was always a band, or there was always music, huge party, and it was always just cumbia in the background. There was always cumbia at the parties, cumbia at the house, so it's just in my blood. Obviously, I got into music really young. I got into rock music and hip hop, and I followed that for many years, trying to do that stuff professionally. But cumbia was always there, what I'm saying? It's always just a part of my DNA, along with hip hop and metal and stuff. So when I did this band, when I decided to form La Misa Negra, I wanted to do cumbia, but also like try to do something different with it. At the same time, like be authentic and genuine, and tap into that 50s Colombian big band sound that I feel like kind of has gone extinct, and so I wanted to bring that to life, put the horns in the forefront, have it be about that sound and that fatness and that, just big band sound, but at the same time, do something new with it, do the authentic stuff, but also I hate the word fusion, but try to make it, something funner. I'm a rock guy, and I go to rock shows, and I don't like going to go see bands that just stand and play. I go to shows where like I come out sweaty after the show, where people in the band, they're drenched, and it's just everyone's jumping around, moshing, whatever. So I wanted to combine that cumbia, like the party vibe, with like the mosh pit vibe, and so that's why like we do cumbia, but then we do some super fast stuff. My neck hurts at the end of the shows, like everyone,
Ain't that true?
the band is sore after the end of the show. You know what I'm saying? And that's to me, that's music playing. You know what I mean?
Soreness is music
Elena,
playing.
tell us your feelings about this, because looks like you were really into what he was saying.
Well, I think in general, because he does hate the word fusion, it was funny, but it's true. After each show, I mean, everything hurts for sure. And we go really hard, I think most people can say in most of our shows, all of our shows, it just comes with a lot of high energy, good vibes, and just dancing, sweating. It's I miss it. I miss it a lot. I can't wait to play at the end of the month.
I'm curious, in all my travels to Colombia, over the last 5 years, I've been there a dozen times, and I've certainly discovered or found where the roots of this music is, cumbia specifically. And this period that Marco is talking about is actually, for me, one of the richest periods of music, not just in Colombia, but around the world, but specifically in Colombia. There was this kind of explosion of that big band sound. About, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I found the music of Lucho Bermudez, which I'm sure Marco knows, and you, Elena, probably have heard too. Lucho Bermudez and Pacho Galan. These were sort of the two kind of, for lack of a better comparison, just so some people may not know who they are, and might as well put them in a place that people can understand how important they were. Lucho Bermudez was a kind of admirer of Benny Goodman. Because he was also a clarinetist, and he loved Benny Goodman. And so he once said that he wanted to model the orchestra after his hero, after the guy that he admired, Benny Goodman. but he also had a lot of other stuff going on. Of course, the cumbia sound that he picked up on was the cumbia from this region that's called Montes de Maria, where the music originally comes from that area, Cartagena, Barranquilla region. But the thing that really blew me away is all of these amazing arrangements of this big bad sound, with the horns and the percussion, and of course the singers that would do this amazing kind of fun, almost humorous kind of approach to delivering the cumbia. Is that sort of what you were thinking, Marco, when you were thinking of the brass?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And those two band leaders are perfect examples. Their music was instrumental, like literally, like they didn't have any singing on their recordings. And so it was all about just the melodies, the horn lines, and everything. And they were tapping into mambo a lot. They were incorporating a lot of stuff that was happening in Cuba, and that's also a big part of what we're doing. I love mambo. My parents love mambo. I grew up listening to mambo. So like, I love cumbia, I love mambo, and I love jazz too. Mainly Latin jazz by like Dizzy Gillespie and all the the originals and stuff. And so those guys are taking their cues from what's happening in the jazz scene in the United States, what's happening with mambo and stuff in Cuba, and I'm taking my cues from these Colombian bands, but also from where they're taking their cues from. So that's why like I feel like La Misa Negra is pretty deep in terms of like where we're tapping in. We're not just tapping like 20 years ago, to the 80s or whatever, La Sonora Dinamita or something. Like, we're like, our reference point is way before that, you know what I mean? And one of the main reasons I wanted to start this band is I wanted to write horn lines. I love brass instruments, and as the band has evolved, and you hear more in the second album versus the first album, like the horn parts are getting like more complex, faster. The playing is fast. It's challenging to play a lot of the stuff that we play in the band for everyone in the band. Percussion because it's super fast, and the horn lines because it's line after line after line. Is not easy, you can't just pick up a trumpet and start playing some of these songs tomorrow. You know what I mean? So those guys are huge inspiration. Pacho Galan is one of the top 3 artists that inspire like La Misa Negra sound, along with Pedro Laza and Los Corraleros de Mahahual. Those 3 artists would be like,
we're talking tall order.
Yeah, Los Corraleros de Mahahual, that's like the Yardbirds for cumbia, in the sense that Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, and Jimmy Page came.
That's where they come from,
right? And Corraleros, that's where Aniceto Molina came from.
Fruco.
And exactly. And so like so many legends.
Alfredo Gutierrez, the accordion player.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's our reference point for like the inspiration for La Misa Negra.
Great. All right, let's I would like Elena to introduce this song and video. The song is called Acosadora, and I'd like you to tell me about this song and sort of and we'll talk about more when we come back, but please tell me a bit about this song.
Well, the song was created over the original singer had a stalker, and so things got a little messy. And instead of her taking it as something that was like weakness and taking it, she decided to empower herself and write a song about it. And she wrote it with Marco, and they both created an amazing song. And it definitely has to do with just owning your power back from somebody stalking you and making you feel some type of way. So, Acosadora, La Misa Negra is fire.
All right, let's take a listen and watch this fantastic video of the song called Acosadora from my guests, La Misa Negra. That was great. Wow, what a tune. What an amazing song. I want to talk a bit about the group has this sort of thread, this sort of narrative that I like you both to talk about. You, in a sense, bring this social and political into your songwriting, which is not something that you see in your typical cumbia band. Most cumbia bands, let's just say it, it's all about the party, and it's all about sort of, rehashing the same old style songs that we've heard for generations, right? Not you guys. I mean, you're really, in a sense, reimagining what the cumbia songs could be about, what the lyrics could be about, right?
Yeah. When I started the band, it's not like I was specifically looking like to include certain types of people in the band. It's just, I was just looking for musicians, and I was looking for the best people around, but also people that I connect with and everything. And some of those musicians happen to be women. You know what I mean? And so we got Elena in the mix. We got
That's right.
Morgan, obviously the singer, and even in earlier incarnations of the band, we've had several women that were in the band from the beginning. And it's not like something. It's not something I would like premeditated necessarily, but at the same time, one of the things I hate about like some of this Latin music is the objectifying of women. And I remember like Sonora Dinamita, for example. Like I love so many of their songs. I love their albums. But every time I grabbed like a cassette, or whatever, I looked at the at the store, like the CDs or whatever, with tapes. Um, all I saw was women in bikinis. You know what I'm saying? Like that
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
that was like the aesthetic of that band, and not only that band, but they were. I mean, in the '80s, La Sonora Dinamita dominated cumbia, right? And so that was, even as a kid, because I was a young kid at the time. Like I was like not comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, first, I don't even know what the band looks like. These girls are obviously not in the band. And so to me, I was like, and there are so few like musicians playing like this kind of music, female musicians playing this kind of music.
Right.
And I think it's easy for men to just kind of like fixate on like only looking at male musicians. I don't know what that is. But to me, I was like, I meant that Elena started coming to La Misa Negra shows. We became friends, you know, and I loved her. Like she's one of my favorite people on the planet. She just makes me laugh. And it
It's
just so
funny.
happens, that she's killer on percussion. She's just amazing. And I'm like, I want her in my band. I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to get her in my band. And so that's what you know La Misa Negra is. Because also we're not all just Latinos. We got you know white people and Jewish and Arab and Asian and everything. Again, because it's all about, if you like good music, come and play in my band. Like some of them have been familiar with cumbia music, others had to learn it and stuff. But if they feel the music, then come along for the ride. Like so that's what La Misa Negra is. Like above anything else, it's inclusion. With the political stuff, we have songs about gun violence. We have some songs about water scarcity. You know, like that's I'm a political guy. Like all the music I wrote before La Misa Negra was 100% political. And when I started La Misa Negra, I was like, okay, we got to write kind of like fun kind of songs, if you will. But but I can't write dumb songs. I'm not gonna write just let's go dance kind of stuff. Like I'm not gonna lie. There might be some of that in what we do, but it's just um, and it's not all political. It's about having a good time. But where it makes sense to put some politics in a song that's gonna sound good, then boom, let's do it. And it's just we're not young kids either. We got stuff to say. So
Elena, I'd like you to comment on this question of, that he just addressed all these concerns, all these,
Yeah.
important themes. Tell me about your opinion of this.
Well, it was one of the things that I loved about the band. I was already a fan of the band. I would go to their shows and I'd be like, okay, this is a sick ass cumbia band. And I didn't think I would be a part of it, to be honest, until I was approached by Marco. But that's the other thing that I love about it, is that we have something to say, and it's not just being happy and dancing and partying, but mainly to make a difference. With Acosadora, it was about, soccer and owning your own power, pistola, gun control, and all that. Dueña de Mí was also something that was awesome, because that song was created right around the Women's March when, Trump was appointed president. And so that was a huge song in general. And I know so many women that come up to me and they tell me that they love that song. They love the message that's behind it. And so I'm just grateful that I'm a part of it and that the message is coming across clear, especially from a person. I'm from the Mission District, and we have a lot of stuff that has been going around here, a lot of gentrification, a lot of change, and a lot of political things going on around here too. And so as soon as I was brought into the fold with the band, I just knew this was something that was going to be huge and that people were going to love what we had to say. So I definitely love that. And I appreciate that so much from the band. And Marco, I mean, he's one of the most hardworking managers, producers, writers, everything, annoying person as well. We like to mess with each other in general. That's just how we do. But yeah, so I'm just glad it's not something where we're just like happy, cumbia, it's just like, let's talk about some real stuff going on right now. This is a different time. It's a different generation. We should be talking about way more instead of not saying anything at all. So that's what I love the most about this band.
You just mentioned the song Dueña de Mí. Tell me about this song in particular. I saw the video and it has a lot to do with women empowerment.
Yeah.
And that's been going on for the last few years, the Me Too movement and all that.
Yeah, and it was the video had video of just different clips of the Women's March in San Francisco. It was literally right globally everywhere. But in general, it's just about women having their own rights, especially right now with Texas and the abortion ban that's going on right now. So it's just something that it's just more of saying that you have the right to, be the Dueña de Mí and have your own power. And, I didn't write the song, but I think a lot of women can gravitate towards the song in general because, women obviously don't get a lot of rights in a lot of different countries, and it's something that's been happening for years, decades. So I'm happy that there was a song that was about that.
Great. Well, let's take a listen. Let's watch this video as well. The song is called Dueña de Mí, which translates something as I am my own owner. I own my body, so to speak. I own myself. So nobody tells
That's
me
right.
what to, what I should be doing with my own body, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's take a look at this video and we'll be right back. Okay, we're speaking with Marco Polo Santiago and Elena de Troya from the band La Misa Negra. So much fun talking to you guys. What I'm just curious, what sort of, if you've encountered any sort of friction or anything from other, either other bands that play cumbia, or if you played in venues or gigs where there are other cumbia bands, or people who are familiar and listen to cumbia as the traditional stuff, and what they think of what you do, since what you're doing is let's just say it, it's quite different than the traditional stuff. Marco.
Every now and again, there's someone that complains, but those are few and far between. Like, something that comes up kind of more often is like when like people come to see us and they expect to see like a typical cumbia band. You know what I mean? Like maybe they're familiar with the songs, but they want to go and they just want to dance on the dance floor, and they get annoyed because everyone around them is like jumping up and down, and they're getting, you know what I'm saying? But those it's just those people are kind of at the wrong place, because I would say half of our music is straight ahead cumbia, but the other half is all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like, we make people dance and sweat and do all of that stuff, So so that's, some people, get turned off by some of that, but if you want to listen to straight up cumbia or go see a straight up cumbia band, like, you got 100 options. You got hundreds of options for that. We don't need to be another one. So we're trying to do our own thing.
Yeah, but also I'd like to say that I've seen so many people just stare and watch us because they don't know what to do. It's like, I thought we came here to see cumbia. We're seeing something else, head banging, and people are jumping. So I definitely say that I've seen a lot of people throughout the 7 years of confusion, and they don't know what to do with themselves. But eventually, they give in and they're like, okay, this is something. And before you know it, you see them dancing and having a good time. So I definitely can say that it was like some huge cumbia beef, but, and not even with other bands. I can't say that, I mean, I don't know about Marco, but I haven't really had anybody come up to me and say, well, what are you doing? This isn't cumbia, So thankfully.
Yeah, I mean, everyone that we've played with that, that we've opened up for, that have opened up for us or whatever, like, they all dig the band, and like it was a Motley. We're playing with those guys, The last tour we did before the pandemic was with them, and we haven't done a show since. And this will be our first show, and it's gonna be with them again. You know what I mean? So, and yeah, and so many, and we went on tour with Mon Laferte too, and then like a few months later, they hit up Elena to go play congas with them, at the Grammys and then some other festivals and stuff. So it's like, it's more positive than negative, and the negative is not even a concern, No one's ever going to be happy with everything,
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm curious, what you have found, since today we could actually look at videos from so many different parts of the world. I'm curious if you've seen anything similar to what you're doing anywhere in the continent. I mean, I've traveled to, as I said before, I've been to Colombia quite a few times, more than any other country other than Mexico, because I have family there, so I visit them almost every year, twice a year. But I'm sure you're familiar. In Peru, they created something called chicha, this sort of cumbia thing, right? That back in the 60s and 70s, more of a influenced by surf and by this kind of psychedelic thing going on in the Amazon. In Argentina, we played with
Los Mirlos a few years ago.
You did?
Those guys love La Misa Negra. So that was awesome.
Those are some cool guys. Very down to earth. Just we hung out. We were in Pittsburgh, right? And we were in Pittsburgh, and then we went. It was Chicago, and then we went to go get tacos afterwards. Had a good time with those guys, man.
That's great. Yeah, in Argentina, they have something called, I don't know if you've heard of this before, cumbia villera.
Yeah,
The villas are the poor, sort of the kind of poor neighborhoods, I guess you could say, in the suburban areas of of Buenos Aires and the big cities, and they have some incredible, like a lot of artists that play this cumbia thing in Argentina, which really kind of surprised me, But they have that thing going. In El Salvador, I don't know if you're familiar with this, Elena, but they have something called chanchona. Are you familiar with this?
I've heard of it, but I can't say that I've heard a lot
So
of the music.
there's actually a band
physically.
in Washington, just near Washington D.C., called what's it called? I think Los Hermanos Lobo with a V. Los Hermanos Lobo. The
Lobo.
record was put out by Smithsonian Folkways a few years ago, and they play chanchona music. And you know why they call it chanchona? It's cumbia, basically. It's cumbia. But the chanchona is
Tell
the
me,
upright
why?
bass. It's the upright bass.
Oh.
And since it's kind of hefty and heavy to carry around, that's what they call the chanchona, the upright bass. But they play violin, upright bass. I think they play accordion and percussion, and that's their equivalent of cumbia for them. But they call it chanchona, música chanchona.
Violin, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know. I mean, I love the name in general.
In El
I'm going to have to
Salvador.
look some up.
Yes, look them up.
Thank
Los
you.
Hermanos
Okay,
Lobo, Lovo.
Lobo.
In
Okay.
Nicaragua, they have this cumbia influence where they play with marimba, with the marimba de arco, a kind of small marimba that they kind of wrap around the body like this. And then, of course, countless cumbia bands, Chico Trujillo in Chile, that plays their own kind of brand of cumbia. And it's funny, only recently in Colombia, I have seen a couple of cumbia bands, but as you probably know, cumbia died in Colombia in the 60s.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
have you seen any of this, the different manifestations of the cumbia, throughout the continent? And I just think it's so great that you guys in the Bay Area have come up with this other sort of brand of cumbia.
Yeah, it's interesting. You said Chico Trujillo. We play shows with him too, and he loved us. Oh, Celso Piña, big fan of La Misa Negra too. So
rest in peace.
From Monterrey, Mexico.
Yeah, so I mean, we've had some opportunities to play with some OGs and stuff, and for them to be like, okay, La Misa Negra is doing something right. That's like just encouragement to keep going, There are younger bands, that are doing like, taking a lot of liberties with the sound. In Colombia, I think they're from Colombia, the Cumbia Queers, aren't they? They're like, that's a straight up punk band that plays cumbia, like it's all guitars, maybe synths and stuff, And so there's and around the country, maybe more in the East Coast, there's some like younger bands doing like, more experimental things with cumbia and stuff. I haven't heard anyone do exactly, what we're doing. I think, we're making it a mission to be like, to play that authentic big band thing, and then throw in some of that accordion rootsy like Andres Landero type of stuff, but then do like songs like Acosadora, where like, what is that? I don't know what it is. I couldn't tell you what kind of genre Acosadora is. All I know is that it's the product of a heavy metal guy who loves cumbia. You know what I'm saying? That's what that sounds like. So it's also not. We're also not. It's not like we're going out of our way to like, how can I mix, hip hop with this? Like, it's not like so like thought out like that. It's just, when I write music, stuff comes out the way it comes out, and these are the songs, So it's just everything that's just in my DNA, in my blood and stuff, and it just comes out the way it comes, All I know is like every song that we do is a dance track, It needs to make people move, you know, you're not gonna hear a ballad from us, you know.
Yeah. Elena?
Yeah. Honestly, I haven't heard anything else really that's like La Misa Negra, which by the way, Marco, we should just like name it a whole different genre,
Maybe we
develop
should.
into
Maybe we
it.
should.
Is it cumbia punk? Is it cumbia punk? I don't even know, but we need to think about this. We need to sit down. We need to think about this because that sounds kind of dope to create your own genre. If other people can figure out what's going on in your head and the other band members. It's like when Marco comes up with a song, there's usually horns, and then we get together and everybody in one room, and then it just creates with our drummer and the bass player. It just creates this whole fusion.
In the few minutes that we have left, I wanted to sort of talk a bit about this music as a kind of identifying style of music for Latinos. It seems to me, of course, we have to be respectful because there are, folks who are Cubans, Cuban Americans, folks who obviously have a thing for salsa, and we respect that, and merengue and so on. But it seems like cumbia, it's so popular, as I was saying earlier, across the continent, that it's become this kind of force that has gone beyond even the salsa. It's because everyone in salsa has happened too. I mean, you see salsa bands in Peru, in Colombia, and all over the place, in Mexico, of course, that have their own way of reimagining this music. But cumbia, I think, has found a niche in every country. I mean, I've heard this stuff in a place called Paraguay, in the capital of Asunción. When I was there a couple of years ago, I was saying, wow, they're singing cumbia, and they're singing in their native Guarani. Wow. So
Wow.
what do you think about that? Cumbia is such a wonderful, contagious, and accessible type of dance form, right?
Yeah, I mean it's simple. I mean the groove is simple and it's very easy to dance to. Anyone can dance to it, and it's just something about the that just really, it just you feel it in your body, in a way that maybe other types of music don't really like infect you that way. I was in Mexico, in Isla Mujeres, for a few weeks, and I was having dinner with my wife. And in Mexico, sometimes they have like the water delivery truck, and they blast their music with some horrible speakers, right? And they were blasting that song by Laura Leon, Suavecito, right? And it was just like the chorus, just the intro, just the intro, and like that chorus, right? And we were outside on the street eating, right? And this truck was there like half an hour, just blasting that super loud over and over and over. Every single person that walked down the street started dancing to it. They turn around, you hear it, and they start dancing, and then they leave. And 100% of the people that walk down the street were dancing to it. Probably most of these people don't own this song, don't go and play it on their iPod or iPhone, whatever. But everyone gets cumbia. If you're a hip hop guy, if you're a heavy metal guy, whatever, from Mexico City or Colombia or Peru or whatever, you dance to cumbia. At some point in your life, you're dancing to cumbia. That's like the underlying like thing that connects so many of us. You know what I mean? And being Chicano, listen to the music that this kind of music, and Elena too. Like it's just I for one don't normally listen to cumbia like in the car. Like I don't put it on. I don't have to because I it's in me. I am cumbia. You know what I mean? So it's just like in our the way we grow up is like we speak Spanish, you dance to cumbia. You know what I mean?
Elena, you have the final word.
I'd like to say it's an easy thing. Maybe that's why it's universal, because I like to call cumbia like an English two-step, because it's literally very simple. And anybody who doesn't know how to dance can freaking dance cumbia, right? So I would say that's how I like to explain it to people who have no idea what cumbia is at all. It's like, well, it's kind of like an English two-step, but with a little more groove and a little more flavor.
Great.
Right.
So,
But then, go ahead.
what would you tell the people who are going to see you at the show, at the Musco? How can they dance this music?
That's what she's saying. I think that however you want, you can dance it however you want. Like it's not like and we both love salsa. Elena and I, we love salsa. Most of us in the band, we love salsa. Yeah. We even have a salsa song. But like you need a dance lesson to dance salsa. You know what I mean? Like you need to be coordinated. Like it's not. There's like it's a more elevated kind of dance form. With this, you do whatever you want. There's no cumbia police. Gonna say, oh, you're doing it wrong or whatever. Nah, man, go and have fun. Whatever your body wants to do that.
Yeah, you can't look that bad doing it. I mean, right? I mean, unless you really have two left legs, I don't know.
But, even if you have two left legs, yeah.
I mean, okay, so we want to tell people is that you're going to have an amazing time with us. You're going to release your stress throughout the week, and you're going to watch an amazing band, Ozo Motley. We love those brothers, and you won't regret seeing us.
Terrific. All right, so to wrap it up because we have to go, and I really want to thank you for this opportunity to talk all about cumbia.
Thank you.
I'd like you to tell me a bit about this tune because it happens to be one of my favorite dishes. And anytime I go specifically to Colombia, I do not leave the country without having a serious sancocho. Tell us about sancocho.
Yeah, so this is one of those songs where like you can't really categorize it. Like it's one of those things like, what kind of song is this? I have no idea. But it's just a collection of all this stuff that I'm into and stuff, and it's also kind of representative of the reason we're called a sancocho just because the mixture of the sounds and influences, but also because everyone in the band is like, we're a mixed bag. We're like from all over, different cultures and stuff and everything. So sancocho kind of is a perfect introduction for anyone who has never heard La Misa Negra. You listen to sancocho and you'll be like, okay, I just heard something that's really off the wall, and I want to hear what the next thing is. You know what I mean? And it's hot.
Elena.
Oh, what's sancocho? I'm like, I would like to say Marco pretty much said it all. It's one of my favorite songs just because of just the rhythm section is so hardcore. Whenever we start it, it's just, oh my God, it just really, it starts the room up. I mean, sometimes Marco always likes to start a song. Most people will kind of maybe start their sets slow. Marco likes to start sometimes with sancocho. It's kind of like a kick in the face with a lot of rhythm, a lot of horns, and it's definitely one of my favorite songs. And yeah, I love that song.
Great. All right, we're gonna go out with you said it better, but I'm just gonna add a little more for those folks who are watching this and wondering what is a sancocho. Sancocho is basically a stew, and it's a stew that combines all kinds of different flavors, vegetables. It could be with chicken, it could be with pork, it could be with beef, it could be with fish, and you mix it all up and the flavors explode in your body, in your palate, and you just go, wow. And that's what a sancocho is. So Elena de Troya, Marco Polo Santiago, thank you so much for joining us. It's going to be great to see you at the Musco with Oso Motley, September 25th. Thank you so much. Here is Sancocho.
Thank you.
Thank you.